Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today is going to be my last episode in the Baby Boilon series, for a handful of reasons, but TLDR, I just think I kind of got to the end of my rope with this account, and it's just kind of become another hassle of things to do in Marvel Strike Force when it comes to screen time, and basically doing a lot of the same things that I'm already doing with my main account. And frankly, that's really not what I want at this time. That being said, I had a lot of fun with this account and learned a lot of things, and I want to end it all by sharing my progress, where I got to, what characters I ended up building, and the small things that I didn't quite get to finish. And at the end of it, we're gonna burn my cores, and I'm going to, maybe I should save it for some other time, but I think I'm actually just gonna burn it on Dr. Voodoo and Morbius openings on the 675 cores and just see what we get. Why not? Because likely this account wouldn't have got very far on those events anyways, given the lack of free-to-play nature in what's going to be the Morbius event. And as far as that video goes, look out for another video later on today that will be showcasing the Morbius event in more details when we have the milestones properly shown up for that. So this video will probably mark about 10 months on the account, so while it wasn't a full year, I definitely gave it a good go. So for the last time on this account, let's get this show started. Okay. And here we are in my roster screen. For whatever reason, I just never bothered to unlock some of these characters. But hey, we're gonna do it now. Why not? Just for shits and giggles. I think it's just because, like, through sheer orb openings over time, I just, like, I unlocked them, but I just didn't need them. So I was too lazy to click the buttons. I actually had a lot of these that, and I think I actually, at this point, I think I do have most of the characters unlocked. But obviously, these characters are just characters I never needed. There's absolutely no reason that I actually needed to unlock them. Even Mr. Sinister, to be honest, had no real relevance to my account. So, there we go. Now, finally, all of my characters are unlocked. But, I'm wondering, actually, what characters did I not unlock? So, we're going to start there instead of at the top. So, let's see. Not very many. Okay, so Black Bolt, that's because I skipped him. Alright, so Black Bolt is not a character that you should really go for any new players that may be watching this, even though this is the end of the Boilon, Baby Boilon. You don't really need to go to your way to unlock Black Bolt, and therefore, Black Bolt does lead to Ebony Maw, but because he's no longer required for the Nowhere Heist like he was data mined to be, like, months ago, that's neither here nor there now as well. We do have Adam Warlock coming back around. Frankly, I don't think you need Adam Warlock either. I did end up getting Jubilee unlocked, but otherwise, I don't think you need Adam Warlock. Not only are we moving into a new arena meta of the Darkhold team, we have the Eternals meta as well, and the Infinity Watch meta is just kind of long past, at least for newer accounts, so I don't think that's something that you need to concern yourself with. For the Echo event, I did really poorly, and I think that's because a lot of the characters were, a lot of the events that related to the event was Blitz related, and that's not something that I wanted to do across multiple accounts, so I didn't do so well there, didn't unlock her. Phoenix, never really got around to that because there was a lot of Villain Mystic controllers I never really wanted to bother to spend time with, and of course the only other ones left are Doctor Doom, so I did not finish Dark Dimension 4, unfortunately, but we'll talk about that. Obviously, Dormammu, and then Morbius, and Ultimus, as well as Dr. Voodoo, actually. I believe he's on the favorites list, which is why he's not there. But I did actually manage to unlock Ghost Spider, Star-Lord T'Challa, and Kate Bishop. So that's good, I guess, from the previous characters, although I didn't really spend a lot of time building them up. I also got Omega Red unlocked, actually, on the second pass, and I'm really happy for this, and I think this is actually a pretty big achievement for my baby account. So even though it's ending, I actually feel good that I actually managed to get him on the second pass. There was, a lot of time in between the first and the second, so that allowed me to do that. But still, nonetheless, that's something that I'm pretty happy for. So before we get started, though, these are the characters that I had been working on. And if you didn't see in the intro, my account is level 83. So that's where a lot of my arena team is at. I basically kept my Eternals to be level 83 because that's what I'm using in the arena, or what I was using in the arena, and I was pretty much using just different variations of the speed meta, and that's really about it, because that's all I needed to use for this account. You really didn't frequently see anything other than that for this shard, and keep in mind, I started in May 2021, the last year. So this is about a 10-month arena shard in terms of the characters that you'll see in there. Other top characters, well, these are the characters that I was working on. A lot of this was for Dark Dimension 4 City. You can see Shang-Chi, Dagger, and Cloak. Recently, Cloak was made fireable. Dagger had a bunch of orbs, the shards that we got for free. And then Symbiote Spider-Man on the side that I was actually actively working to go into Dark Dimension 4 City as well. Now, where I kind of got a little stuck at was my global selection, because I did not have a great 5th choice. So I had Ghost, and then I had, my 4th choice. I had Secret Avengers. All of my Secret Avengers are at gear tier 15, I think, for the most part. Maria Hill, Cap, Sam, I believe Sharon is as well. What I didn't really want to do is I didn't want to take Ghost up to gear tier 15. I had used her in Dark Dimension 3 Global for gear tier 14, but I wasn't really prepared to take her up to gear tier 15. So I was wondering, like, what kind of other replacements would there have been for the global section? And that's when I started to build up Lady Deathstrike. She's a really good character more broadly, and she's someone that I am using a lot in my main account anyway, so I thought that this would have been a good choice. Maybe not the best choice necessarily to go alongside the Secret Avengers, but like a good, decent character that I probably would have made use of, whereas with Ghost, like, I really felt that she was at the end of her stick, and so I didn't really, even though she was tech and, you know, there's lots of tech gear, still didn't really feel comfortable putting that gear into her. So unfortunately, I never really got around to finishing that part of Dark Dimension, but I did actually have all of the other characters built, you know, so we could take a look at that. You know, as far as Cosmic went, I had all the characters basically ready to go for Dark Dimension 4 Cosmic, because a lot of the characters that I built up for that was already part of my first 5. So Icarus, Cersei, Kestrel, and probably would have been Deathpool. To be honest. But if I had been still going on with the account, I think another character I would have added in there would have been Strange 2, or aka Strange Supreme. He looks to be an incredibly powerful character. I made a video on that, and definitely a great standalone blaster as well. So, you know, if you get the chance, you collectively out there, you know, who are kind of in similar positions to me, if you're running through Dark Dimension 4 Cosmic and you're thinking that you need another character, Strange Supreme is definitely a character that I would keep my eye on, depending on what his release method is going to be like. But he does look to be a very powerful standalone character, because like I said about Infinity Watch, like, I'm not really comfortable with, like, taking any of these at this time to gear tier 15. It's a really good team, but just, I think as far as where a lot of early and mid-game accounts are, or mid-game accounts at this point, you know, I'm not sure if it's a team you want to invest in when there's a bunch of Mystic characters. Well, actually, there's only one with Adam Warlock, but still, I'm not sure if Adam Warlock is where you need to spend your Mystic resources with so many characters on the horizon. Now, speaking to Legendary Lane, like, I don't even know what I would have used necessarily if I got there for Dark Dimension 4. What are my choices? Shuri, Doc Ock, Jubilee, Omega Red. So that's probably what it would have been, to be honest. I would have had to pump G15 into Shuri. Would have had no problems doing that for Doc Ock, Jubilee, and Omega Red. And that's probably where it would have been. I mean, Shuri's someone you would have made use of for Doomray Tech for now, and Doc Ock for Nowhere Heist, and Omega Red standalone. Possibly Invisible Woman. Now, I want to give a shout out to Invisible Woman for Dark Dimension 4 Legendary Lane. I use this for my main account. It's not a terrible choice, and the fact that you do need her for Nowhere Heist now actually kind of gives you a reason to do it. I mean, it's not the best reason, but it gives you another reason nonetheless. It's you know, a stronger reason than to do it in the past, so that's something that I would recommend. Of course, going forward, you know, honestly, I think everyone, and newer players and mid-game players, ignore the following characters: Magneto, Black Bolt, Ebony Maw, and to some degree, Phoenix and Adam Warlock. Like, I honestly don't think that you need them at this point in time. Iron Man, of course, that was just a given. Star-Lord, well, you know, he's for Nowhere Heist for the same reason as Invisible Woman. I still don't think that you should take him to gear tier 15 for, like, Dark Dimension 4 Legendary, but hey, it is what it is, right? So that's just, like, what's going on with my roster. That's where I kind of got things to. Let's talk about more broadly what I ended up doing. Well, I haven't actually touched the Dr. Voodoo event yet. But we did make it through a lot of, you know, Dark Dimension in good time. We got, Dark Dimension 3 was done quite some time ago, probably about I want to say like 7 months into the game, which was pretty good. And, you know, as far as being able to get to the level required for Dark Dimension 4, you know, I was probably at level 80 at 8 months in, 7.5 to 8 months in. So as far as that went, I was pretty happy. I only got the first 3 nodes done, and like I said, that's because I just didn't have that 4th character to get started on global. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, I was kind of waffling around about who I wanted to take. I was kind of delaying because I didn't want to upgrade Ghosts, and that's basically how it was. Otherwise, I would have been able to do everything else because I had the cosmic characters ready, I had the city characters ready, and I just would have had to bump up my legendary characters a little bit more. Obviously, we're not going to talk about Dark Dimension 5 because my main account's not even there yet. But as far as where I basically completed the game. I feel like I basically completed the game. Campaigns mode wise, I did pretty much everything. I went through all of them. And by the way, if you're curious about how I went through these nodes, you could either go back through some of my old videos on my playlist, or sign up to my Discord channel if you haven't already. There is a baby account channel there that I am going to keep open, and it talks about all of the different teams that I use to min-max my way through Do More, particularly, because I did make a lot of progress here. I cleared Chapter 1, and I did this in a timely manner as well, because this unlocks level 70 for Do More Chapter 1, but 2, 3, and 4 don't unlock until level 75 plus. So there is a little bit of a gap in between that. So you do have to keep that in mind as well. But I got through all these, and not all of them are 3 stars, but a good number of them are. And I did really min-max my way through here in terms of my characters that I decided to use for these teams. So yeah, I feel really proud of that accomplishment. I got through all of Chapter 3. Frankly, I got a 3-star on both the Yellow Jacket and the Multiple Man node. So I was really happy about that as well. And that went really well. We got through Do More 4.1 through 4.3, and this is really important because of the teal gear that is available here. The problem that came really here, I got kind of stonewalled here at 4.4 because it is Hero Mutant, and frankly, like that, it kind of pushes you into using Astonishing X-Men. I don't think that you can really get away, given the team power and the characters that you're coming up against. X Factor, I don't think particularly cuts it here in this situation, and of course I didn't really make it on further than that. However, 4.7 to 4.9 probably wouldn't have been an issue because it's Mystic characters. Eternals would probably just blow them out of the water. So really, I think the hardest part here that I came across is this 4.4 to 4.6 section, because it really just stonewalled me into building Astonishing X-Men, and I hadn't done that really on my account. As far you see that I got a 1-star there, and that's largely because I did have them built to some degree. It just wasn't really enough. I pigeonholed this a little bit with like Jubilee, Bishop, and Beast, and then I tried to use Longshot and Charizard because those were my best X Factor characters, but it just wasn't really enough to get me through, and I definitely could not even touch Do More 4.5 because I attempted that. But like I said, I made some really good progress with characters by just kind of focusing on the ones that I needed to do. And that's the really most important part. And so for anyone coming up on, say, level 70, I do recommend people to go through the campaigns. Get through at least, and actually I didn't finish Heroes chapter because at the end I believe it's Colossus, and that's not really important to your roster. So doing something like Hero 7.1, that unlocks Villain 7.1, and then and I didn't even finish the Villains chapter because I didn't need to farm Iceman either. I actually had him at 5+ star. If you 1-star Villain 7.1, that unlocks Nexus chapter 8. And then this is where you need to continue on and finish to Nexus 8.9 because that eventually unlocks Do More. So that's kind of the progression when you're on your way up to level 70. Obviously the first thing that you want to do is probably do Dark Dimension 2. Very easy to do as well. But after that, you probably want to start focusing on some of these campaign chapters because it's going to be really important when you move on to Do More. And I think that's probably the biggest takeaway that I would probably say about this account. So yes, I made it to level 83, but what I did is I built my account very tall. I made sure that I built and invested in the characters that I knew were important to my game. I skipped a lot of legendary characters that I didn't need, but I focused on the very strong characters. I focused on Kestrel when I first started my account, which was very important and very integral to my progress. I made sure I did pretty well with the Eternals, and I got these up, and this was a huge help as well. Characters like the Secret Avengers, which I built up. Deathpool, very important to my progress as well in various chapters. And, I built, going down from a power scale, you can kind of see some of the characters that I decided to work on. Scarlet Spider for Pocket Dimension, Miles for Pocket Dimension, some of the other characters for Pocket Dimension, Shuri as well, and Cersei and so on. And then you can kind of see, just by going through here, some of the various characters that I worked on, but I also stopped using. So Silver Surfer, for example, is only level 65, 55k. I didn't really take him too much higher because he kind of dropped out of his usefulness. to be frank. And, you know, I took a lot of these characters exactly where I needed to for the content that I was doing. You know, Killmonger, one of the best characters for flash events, so I did take him up a fair bit high, 55k, because he triples for flash events, and he's really good. Baron Zemo, took him up to gear tier 13, didn't really need him much more beyond that. I could have taken him to gear tier 15 for Dark Dimension 4, but decided against it, personally. But you can see as I kind of scroll through my roster, these are characters that I used in various parts of my campaign chapters, or legendary unlock events, or things like that. But I didn't really do more than I needed to, and you can see that I have a lot of characters at the bottom because I didn't need them. You know, Emma Frost and Loki, who are in here, like, I used them particularly for the speed meta, but I never actually built them. I got them to the point where I could, you know, do it, and then I could use them for the speed part, and that's all I needed for them for. And otherwise, there's a crap ton of characters at the bottom that I never even bothered to invest in, because really, when it comes to newer accounts, the best takeaway is make sure you build tall. Make sure you build the best characters for what you can do at the time. Focus on new characters. Don't focus on old characters. Unless they're super important and integral to your game, I would focus on characters that are kind of within the last 9 months. And even that might be stretching it. Last 6 months if they're farmable. In the case of characters like Shang-Chi, Cloak, characters that are available for you to get, you know, that are really strong still. But other than that, try to make sure that you're focusing going forward on newer characters. So now, before we end this video, like I said, I want to test my luck. Let's see if we can pull a handful of cores. Let's do half and half. We're gonna do half of them on. Actually, we're gonna try to unlock Dr. Voodoo and then pull the rest on Morbius and see what happens. So we're gonna end it with a bang, I guess, and see if we get any like special fancy luck. 6. We're gonna do it a little bit faster because I'm realizing that we're about 16 minutes in already. But hey, you know, I want to see. Does my baby account have any good luck? I don't remember if I even pulled red stars for these characters. Looks like I don't really have any luck here for Dr. Voodoo. So that's a total of 24 shards. I'm trying to keep track in my head here. 30 shards. Let's do 2 more. 30, holy shit, this is terrible. Okay, buy cores. Yeah, that was absolutely awful. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull. That didn't even unlock them. But if I did the event, then I would get that unlocked. Let's see if I can get some any better luck on Morbius. Maybe I just blew all my luck on Dr. Voodoo, or sorry, I got rid of the bad luck, and we'll move on with Morbius. Or maybe not. Maybe this account was just destined to die, and that's exactly why we're doing this. So Nothing beyond greens across both characters and over what's going to be about 10,000 cores. And yes, it's just an end to an era. That's why I'm doing this. All right? Nothing fancy, except for that, but that could have been a lot better. If it was 180, I would have been like, okay, never mind. But nope, nothing more than 100. We're not getting 180. Are we? Last one. We're not even going to get him unlocked. That's unfortunate. That's highly unfortunate. Okay, well, what did we get? 74 shards. Not quite an unlock, but buy baby account. Yeah, so that was the Boilon baby account extravaganza ending ceremony. Now, unfortunately, it does make me kind of sad that, well, what am I going to do with this account? It's kind of going to rot away, and that's kind of partially how I feel about Marvel Strike Force these days, but I can't really do a whole lot, you know, because giving it away to someone I think would be in breaking of terms of service, could get this account banned potentially. So, you know, as much as I would love to do something with this, you know, let me know in the comments down below if you have any suggestions, because I'm not sure. Like I would love to maybe be able to do something with this, but I'm not sure what options there are. It is kind of sad, but it is what it is. Also, I have a shit ton of gold. I'm just going to leave it there, though, because you never know. One day, maybe either I'll pick it back up again, or I'll have a reason to use 76 million gold. I just got really lucky, and I hoarded a lot, okay? All right, so that's the end of the Boilon baby account. It's kind of sad, but, you know, I learned a lot, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it, too. Let me know what you think I should do next. I don't want to start a new account, but hey, I'll be continuing on videos, of course, and look forward to later on when my Morbius event milestone video does come out. So until then, stay safe and healthy, everyone, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.